older so I can bring him to the gym and he gets to interact with people at the gym. He gets to play around. I'll take him for a walk before training. And then we have a cage set up, so sometimes I'll lock him up in the cage. And I do have to let him cry for a few times, but it's a lot easier now that he's older for sure. But I do have a lot of help from coaches, from teammates, my parents, friends, family friends. So they help me make it work.
That's awesome to get that support system like that.
Yeah. I definitely would not be able to if I didn't.
Now, do you have a favorite and least favorite training day?
I guess Tuesdays is my favorite because we have a full day of grappling.
Okay.
I think our Tuesdays it's more of like live wrestling, and then we have jiu-jitsu, and then we have MMA grappling at night, and then we have live MMA grappling at night, and that's my favorite. When I was in Washington, I was at Washington for almost a year, and that's like what my strengths became. So being able to come back here and practice that more is nice. My least favorite, I guess, would have to be when it's kickboxing all day. That's, I think Thursdays. Thursdays it's all kickboxing, and I'm just like, I don't want to punch. I want to just take that.
I mean, yeah, like we talked about earlier, you got to prepare to get hit in the face, so you got to work on those punches.
Yeah. I have to get back to liking striking. That used to be my strength, but now I'm like, oh no, I want to be like Khabib.
Now, what fighters do you watch and are inspired by?
Oh my God, there's so many. There's so many up and coming too that are like awesome. I recently became a huge fan of Yasmin Yaregi.
Mm-hmm.
She fought for Combate for some time. She I think won that tournament thing that they had, and then she got signed into the UFC and has been killing it in the UFC. I was a big fan of Fairtex. She, I think, fights for ONE FC. They're both big strikers, but yeah, that's like trying to think of the male fighters. Max Holloway was like, oh my God, for like years and years, he has always been my favorite. Win or lose, he just always put it on in like the cage. So, I look up to him a lot, and, Volkanovski, they're my top two favorite male fighters. But yeah, I have a lot. I look up to so many people. I guess it also depends. I like to look at fights when I'm like getting ready for a fight, and whoever I feel like would have a really good like the way their style, whatever their style would go good for the opponent that I have. That's what I look at the most.
That's smart, because then you're also checking out different fighters and different styles and trying to
mimic
match
them
up properly. Exactly.
Yeah. It's harder because I'm a southpaw, but I make it work.
Well, I mean, just practice both sides, and then you can just switch on them.
Yeah. I've been working my best, but it's like, when you're good at one stance and then you try the other stance, but you're getting beat up in that stance, you're like, you know what? Let me switch for a minute. Let me show you.
Now, I want to talk about MMA fans for a second. They can be rather harsh at times, but I think that's kind of also just social media in general, unfortunately. Can you tell some examples of some of the negative and then also the positive sides of the MMA fans online?
Oh my God, there's so many. Jeez. So from like the very beginning, even as an amateur, I feel like I fought for pretty big cards. So my fights have always gotten views, and I try not to be so into like like the comment area, but sometimes like, you know, the Latina in me comes out and I start replying and I need to stop. But, I've always gotten the whole yeah, you know, like in Spanish is like guerrera, which means like warrior, and like good job, and you know, the style of like aggressive and, you know, all that stuff. I've gotten that. I've gotten the like, you're so pretty, which I'm like, oh my God. You know, the compliments and, obviously like, you know, like the good stuff about like being a very girly fighter in MMA. Those are always like, oh, like, thanks, you know, I'm a little like, I get a little awkward with them, but, you know, it's always appreciated. Negative, I've had a few. There was a kickboxing fight that I had on YouTube, and honestly, like, that kickboxing fight was just like, I was filling in for somebody that last minute couldn't do it. The show, this was like right before my pro debut, so it was still an amateur kickboxing fight. And the show was, the girl, like, she had a lot of fights, but, she was only a kickboxer, so she didn't have any blood work. And I did as a kickboxer. So, they told me, like, if you don't want to wear headgear, like, you're good. You don't have to because you have blood work. The other girl had to wear headgear because she didn't have any blood work. So, like, and like, I mean, they asked her, they told her, hey, like, we have this person, but just so you know, she's going to turn pro. She has a lot of fights. And she still took it, like, as if, like, I don't care. So, and obviously, I dominated that fight, and, like, somebody in the comments was, like, kind of, like, calling me an asshole for it, or saying, like,
What?
like, kind of, yeah, like, I can't remember what it was, but it was something, like, negative towards me for fighting that girl. And I'm like, dude, if she took the fight, like, she literally took the fight. If they tell me fight, I'm gonna fight, you know? And yeah, and that was something that I was like, what the hell? There was another one that I was like, damn, okay. Obviously not every fight's on YouTube, and I've had a lot of them. I had a lot of wins, I had a lot of losses, but there was like a few that were posted at the same time, and both of them were my losses. And somebody commented saying like, every time I watch this girl, she gets knocked out. And I'm like, oh my God. Leave me alone. First off, I'd beat you up. But no, and yeah, so, but I mean, a lot of the times I'm like, oh, whatever, because it's not an actual fighter that's going to say something like that. Damn, I'm trying to think, like, there's always, like, if I grapple a lot, they're going to be like, oh my God, this girl only wanted to hug her, or she only wanted to, like, you know, she wasn't, like, whatever. My last fight, kind of blew up on TikTok, and it blew up in a positive way, but also, like, some very, like, small amount of people were like, that's what happens when you wear makeup to a fight. And I was like, oh my God, first off, I wasn't wearing makeup. They have very good lighting, and I take care of myself. So, like, I had lotion and chapstick, but it was chapstick, you know, the color chapstick that, like, makes your lips a little pink. So I guess it looked like I had makeup, but I didn't have any makeup. But I'm not going to sit there and fight with people saying, like, I'm not wearing makeup, I swear. It's just, I don't know, like, I hydrate my face.
Right.
I drink my water, okay? But yeah, other than that, it's never been, like, terrible. It's just been, like, stupid stuff.
It is funny, like, the whole keyboard warrior trend that has happened, and, like, you get, like, I saw a meme the other day which was absolutely perfect. It was Brendan Fraser from The Whale, so it's this gigantic fat person eating pizza, and it's like, oh, how dare you miss weight, or, oh, you should have gone with a combo, and I was like, that's exactly right, because most of these MMA fans are just fat dudes on a couch behind a computer, and they just, you know, wish they could do this, or, you know, are just completely undisciplined, and they'll just kind of shit on everything, and it just makes no sense to me. I just don't get it.
Yeah. And it's like every negative comment that you're ever going to see is like, that's what it is. It's just somebody that has never stepped foot in the gym, somebody that's, that clearly, needs to change up their diet before they, have some health issues. But that's why eventually you just kind of learn to whatever, leave it alone. As an amateur, it was worse. I got too into it, but.
Yeah, the comment section, you just kind of got to post something and then just walk away, like never look at it again. I mean, I imagine there's going to be the people that, they might happen now or eventually that will say, you got me into fighting or you inspired me to go do, whatever their passion or their dream is. But unfortunately, with all those get bogged down with all the, you're wearing makeup and you shouldn't be fighting or that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've actually again, I try not to reply, but sometimes I'm like, you mother effer. So I'll reply and then all of a sudden, I'm just kidding, but props to you, you're natural, like something like that. And then they end up following me and, being my biggest fan. And I'm like, dude, you literally were just talking shit to me.
Right. That's the other funny thing too, that they'll talk all the shit, but then they'll still follow you and like still, comment, or I imagine they have other separate, creeper accounts that they do that kind of stuff with as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, it happens every time I like put my Instagram on private. I'll put it on private and then there's all these like fake accounts with like no followers and like a weird picture trying to follow me and I'm like, you saw it's on private now.
Probably for the best, yes. So as much as you work out your body physically, the focus on mental health has been far more advanced than it was years ago. What kind of mental workouts and cool downs do you like to practice?
Oh, honestly, I need to work more on that because I actually have been trying to find a good sports psychiatrist or just because, and obviously this is not excuses, this is just something that it kind of messes with my head where it's like, I don't know if you've ever heard the saying like, there's people that are winners in the gym, but they step in the cage and it's like, who is that person? Like somebody that's like, you're like, what the heck? And honestly, that has been me for like ever since my very first fight. It's like in the gym, my coaches see me and they're like, wow, like, and they see an opponent and they're like, dude, like, this is a really good fight for you. But then I step in the cage with them and it's like, what? And I beat myself up for weight cuts. I beat myself up during, like, right before coming out of to the cage, I'll start freaking out. I'll start mentally, like, messing my head up. But I know for, times where it has gone well, win or lose, but I just feel better. It's always been like, I talk to myself a lot. I look back at, video of like, I guess motivation videos have always helped me. I know a lot of people do meditation. That seems to help them. Me personally, I'm still trying to figure it out. I started kind of going towards taking out the negative. I was too cautious about like, oh my God, like be careful. Maybe you can, when my career was on a better standpoint than it is now, I had always been very cocky. I went in there with like, there's no way you're going to get hurt. There's no way that like this person put in more work than you. Just positive talking to myself. Now I believe, honestly, now I feel like because I was a new mom, I was too careful where I'm like, I can't get hurt. I have a baby. I can't get hurt. How am I going to carry the car seat? But now it's like now that I had my fight after so many years and after having a baby, now I'm like, what am I scared of? Like, this is not something new. This is not something that I've never done before.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I highly recommend just trying to figure out, your own kind of meditation, because some people need a guided meditation, some people just need, a kind of like a word that they focus on